that Jim Carrey is a Vata, or that Madonna is a Pitta, or that Beyonce is a Kapha? In fact, every single one of you is one of these things, or a combination of the two. These are all Ayurvedic terms for body and personality types. By learning about Ayurvedic medicine and how to use it, you can be happier, healthier, and live longer. So I've talked with a friend about this who took an advanced course in Ayurvedic medicine in Texas, and I even borrowed her course materials, which were developed by the Institute of Ayurvedic Medicine. So I have some basic knowledge about this, and my mother even raised me employing some of these basic principles, so I have some first-hand experience of some of its benefits. Ayurvedic principles can be really helpful and really simple to use in your everyday life, making them a worthwhile way to stay happier and healthier. Today I want to cover with you the very basics of Ayurveda, the different mental and physical types, or doshas as we call them, and the application of Ayurvedic principles to improve your life. But before we can get to the good stuff, let's start with the basics. It's important to understand the basics of Ayurveda first before you can go into the specifics and use it, because otherwise you won't really understand why you want to use it. So, the term itself is from ancient Sanskrit, and Veda, the part from Ayurveda, means knowledge, and Ayur means life. It's the oldest surviving medical system, and it was created in what's now modern-day India around 5,000 to 6,000 years ago, and it's influenced subsequent medicine practices since. The Institute of Ayurvedic Medicine defines Ayurveda as the science of self-healing based on preventing and treating illnesses with a balance of lifestyle. So you find your mental physical type, and then you apply changes to balance your type to help balance your body and mind. So traditionally, Ayurvedics believed that the universe was intelligent and that you as people are part of the intelligence because you're part of the universe, and that you can sort of activate your body's intelligence to help it self-heal. And nowadays, if you don't believe it, it's fine. It basically just translates into figuring out how to balance your body to help yourself stay happier and healthier. But it's important to remember that modern medicine and Ayurveda aren't mutually exclusive. They both actually work together really well, and they often reinforce each other's ideas, such as stress relief, good diet, good exercise, so they really work together. Now that you understand the basics behind Ayurveda, let's look at some of the different mental, physical, or mind-body types. So there are three main types, and we call them doshas, based on your physical and mental characteristics, and we call them Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. According to the University of Maryland Medical Center, each person has some characteristics of each dosha, but you'll have one or maybe two that's more common to you. I mean, you have more of the characteristics of that one or two. So at the very end of my speech, I'm going to give you one of these handouts that'll give you website links to places with quizzes and information about each dosha that one of them will apply to you. So as I said earlier, Jim Carrey is a good example of a Vata. He's pretty thin for a man, and most Vatas have what we call an irregular body shape. I don't know if he's an irregular body shape or not, I'm not going to comment, but he is pretty thin. And he's also pretty tall, and Vatas tend to be fairly tall or fairly short. They often have trouble gaining weight, but they can usually easily lose it. They often have dark, thin, and frizzy hair, like me, unfortunately. Often irregular appetites, which probably leads to their being so thin, and poor sleep. They can also be fearful, indecisive, nervous, or perceptive. And if you know his comedy, you know he's kind of jittery, so maybe that leads back into his whole Vata thing. They also learn quickly, but usually forget quickly. And they often have erratic speech, and they're kind of talkative. Now, there are so many more characteristics I haven't listed yet, because I just don't have time to tell you all of them. It would take days, but here's just a small range. And remember, you're not going to fit every single characteristic for any one dosha, just several maybe. So Beyonce is a good Kapha example. Kaphas tend to be heavier or broad-framed, but they don't necessarily have to be overweight. They can or cannot be. They're usually evenly proportioned. In fact, that's one of the reasons people consider Beyonce beautiful. They usually have no trouble gaining weight, but often have trouble losing some. They often have oily, wavy, thick blonde or dark hair. They usually have a regular appetite, and they usually sleep for long and deep periods. They tend to be greedy, or calm, or stable, or stubborn, or some combination of those. They often learn slowly and forget slowly, and they usually have slow, cautious speech. Now, Madonna is a pretty good example of a Pitta. And Pittas are sort of between Kaphas and Vatas. Many people are Pitta Vata, like me, or Pitta Kapha. So Madonna is fairly medium. She's not super thin and she's not super big. She has a pretty proportionate frame. Well, I don't know about her personally, but pittas tend to easily gain or lose weight. They often have straight, fine, red hair or maybe prematurely gray or balding hair. They tend to be moderate to light sleepers. They can be angry, intelligent, successful, or arrogant. They usually learn quickly and forget slowly, and they usually have decisive, articulate speech. In addition to understanding your personality and physical characteristics, keeping your dosha balanced is important. When you get out of balance, the imbalances show up in you as illnesses or mental problems. That could just be anything like stress too. It doesn't have to be a stronger mental problem. So you can maximize your health and happiness by avoiding what causes the imbalances in your body and trying to find things that do balance it. So there are a few different ways that Ayurveda can help this, and one of the ways is by lowering your blood pressure and your stress. One way is to do this with pranayama, which is a certain kind of breathing exercise. You can look it up if you want to do it. There's also meditation and aromatherapy, and if you're not familiar with aromatherapy, it's using scents to clear your mind, improve your mood. It can do all sorts of things. Usually it just makes you feel better. Ayurveda can also lower your cholesterol. One way to do this is what they call panchakarma, and there's a specific way they cleanse and purify your body, and it helps reduce your cholesterol. You need an expert to help you do this. You can also just rid your body of toxins in a more normal way by sweating, defecating, or vomiting, but you definitely want to ask a doctor first before you try any of this. Ayurveda can also help you with your circulation and also helping you balance your dosha. You can do this with yoga and massage, which are especially good for your circulation. And then there are herbs, vitamins, and foods that help you balance your dosha. And according to the book, The Art of Aromatherapy, lemon is really good for your circulation. And lavender tends to be good for pittas because it usually helps reduce anxiety. And pittas and vatas especially, sorry, I forgot to mention vatas, they often get really anxious. And peppermint is pretty good for kaphas because it helps their digestion, which may help them lose weight or not gain weight. But again, ask your doctor before you try any radical change to your diet. So there's a lot more I could tell you about all this, but I couldn't tell it all in a day if I tried, so I'm going to wrap up here. Hopefully you have a better understanding of what Ayurveda is, the main types or doshas of people, and some of the ways to apply Ayurveda to improve your life. Remember, with Ayurveda, you're helping nature do her job. In the words of Voltaire, the art of medicine consists of amusing the patient while nature cures the disease. Thank you.